Welcome back to our Hornets Walk. We're reviewing the 1-1 draw at Coventry. Quite an entertaining game. Sam says not a bad point considering how poor we were in the first half, but the slow start is a concern. Again, I thought there were many positives, and we've got our team here to review those concerns and the positives. We've got Aaron and Rio back on Where Hornets Walk. This is the quickest and most comprehensive review of all things Watford on the internet. 20 minutes listen a week. Welcome and thank you for watching. Here is the titles, and on the other side we're going to talk about left backs, Coventry, and of course look ahead to the next game. Here is Where Hornets Walk. Welcome Aaron, welcome Rio back to the channel, and thank you very much for watching. Before we get into all of this, coming up on this, we are of course reviewing the previous game. We're looking forward to game week 7, and we're asking you who's your unsung player of the month for August. Not the one that got the official one, but who's the player that hasn't got their flowers, and we'll ask these two for that at the end. And we're going to have a look at some left backs as well. But let's jump straight into it then. Rio, let's start with you then this week then. Entertaining game, the report said. Not in the first half though, was it?
No, in the first half we couldn't string a pass together. Coventry were opening us up easily. They missed quite a few very, very good chances. It could have been... We were lucky to be in only 1-0 down first half. Could have easily been 2 or 3, but in the 35th minute or something, Backman, tactical injury, Clev's got the group together. And from then, we dominated the second half, if I'm honest. Hadji Wright missed quite a good opportunity, but apart from that, it was all Watford. And I'd say it's a good point considering Coventry should have been out of sight, but Coventry will be up there, and it's a good point.
Aaron, some of the commentators have said that was the worst sort of half an hour under Cleverley so far in that first half. Would you agree with that?
I think some of the halves last season might have been worse, but this season certainly. I think especially the first 20 minutes were a real problem on Saturday. Like Rio said, we quite easily could have been 2 or 3 behind at the break. So, I'd agree with that assessment.
Who impressed you the most, Aaron?
For Watford, probably Giorgi always impresses. I mean, and to be honest, that wasn't even his best game, and he was still one of our best players, which I think it just tells you what you need to know about him. It was hard to pick sort of a stand-up performer in that first half, but in the second half, I thought the introduction of the subs, Jebinson and Everlese, really caused them problems. I think a lot of the problem in the first half was we weren't stretching the defence at all, whereas Jebinson and Everlese did just that.
It's highlighted how good Giorgi is. The stats going into this weekend: most championship chances created, 17. It's difficult to assess a player's kind of contributions, but when he was stretchered off, and rumours are that I believe it's not too serious. It was more of a back spasm. Did you then see what the contribution he really does make to the all-round team, Rio, when he was stretched off? Because the Coventry fans actually said once that happened, they then exerted their influence again and went back to being the better team.
Yeah, I think we lost our momentum when he came off. I mean, there was 13 minutes added on at the end, which was very hefty, and I don't feel we capitalised on it. If anything, we were holding on a bit. They came alive in stoppage time, but yeah, he's definitely one of probably our most important player. I think Tom Daly-Bashir is up there as well. But one critical thing of Chak is maybe his numbers aren't as good as they could be. There was a chance in the first 10 minutes or so. Bio, accidental dummy, laid it on a plate for Chak, could have taken a touch, hit it first time, dragged it wide. But even if he's not at his best, he's always energetic, and he created so many chances. Maybe his numbers aren't so good because he doesn't have people on the end of them.
Mm-hmm. There is a controversial view which I saw, which we'll look at now. and it's this bottom one here. I feel now that Watford have begun not to focus play right into Shaka every time they come forward. Instead, use the other wide man, KMB, in this case. So, I suppose the criticism is that because the rest of the team obviously know what he's going to do with the ball, that all your attacks are becoming a little bit one-dimensional and therefore predictable for the other side. Do you see that view, Aaron, or not?
Somewhat, but I think a lot of what we do is because he has a bit of a free roll as such. He comes quite deep to collect the ball, and no one else in our team can really carry it forward like he can. And this is the concern, is that I'm hoping it's obviously as fewer games as possible he's out for, because I don't think we have a player waiting that quite does that. I think he probably won't play at Norwich. They'll probably bring in Rocco Vata. And although I do like Vata, I think they are very different players that play the same position. So I don't think it's a negative as such. I just think it's probably something to look at in January. We need someone with that ball carrying ability when he's not around.
Okay. Rio, what's your thoughts on the one-dimensional aspect of attacks?
Yeah, I've made my thoughts on Kiembe in recent weeks, but he had a good couple of weeks, but don't feel he's a 10. He it's not your natural 10. Is I don't know. Some people say he's maybe not as good, more in the centre of midfield, but yeah, he doesn't give us that spark going forward. Vata, as Aaron said, he's not like for like, and Vata's very raw, so he'll probably come in for Norwich. But yeah, Chak's our best player, and when you've got a player like Chakvetadze in the team, you always give the ball to your best player. So it's no surprise why he's the mainstay of all our attacks.
The other one, which I wanted to get to, was the Shepmeister saying, fair is always a good game against Coventry. They were a lot better than their league position would have believed. It could have been 5-5. Defensively, were you a little bit concerned, both of you, in that first half, of just how much the Coventry wide players in particular were getting on the ball?
Aaron, what's his name? Is it Van Enkel?
Van Ewijk had a good game as well. I think De Silva did too, to be fair, but Van Ewijk was quite a problem on the right-hand side for them. I agree. First half, we were just so leaky, and the problem they've got to look at is that's 3 games on the trot. We've come out and they've not been awake at the back at all. But credit to them in the second half. I think that's Sierralta's best performance in a Watford shirt for a long time, because he's never been the quickest defender, and Coventry have some really quick players in that front line. Radoni especially and Van Ewijk were getting in behind a lot, but he was able to sort of use sort of a reading of the game and tact and sort of positional nous to manage that. And even though he doesn't have the pace to match them, he won a fair few duels against them. I will say the highlight of the game was actually neither of the goals. I think it was Porteous made an absolutely his tackle of the season. He wins a tackle with him through on goal with his head. The Coventry fan behind the goal was so convinced it was a penalty. It wasn't. He wins the ball with his head. If it's in the highlights and you haven't seen it, go and watch it, because it is unbelievable.
Have you seen a replay of that? I can't find it anywhere.
I haven't, but honestly, it's nuts. It's crazy.
Okay, yeah, I haven't seen that either, and I've watched the highlights, so we'll have to go and find that. All right, thank you both. Then we'll move on from Coventry and head to Carrow Road next. The most colourful game of the weekend. Norwich fans yesterday, they've had a stuttering start to the campaign. They've also got new manager as well. Would you take a draw here, Aaron?
Probably. It is one of the tougher places to go. Last season, our game there was really poor. It was one of it was the latter stretch of Valeri and Ishmael. But previously, we've had a fairly good fortunes there. It's not one of those where I'd take a draw now. I still think it's very winnable. But if we come away with a draw, I won't be disheartened.
Okay. Rio, happy memories of it been to Norwich? It's even from Watford, it's still a bit of a trek.
To be fair, my first visit was last year and we lost there. Maybe I shouldn't be going on Saturday.
Stay away.
What was I going to say? Yeah, they've lost Johnny Rowe. I can't remember if Sarah's still there, but they've also got a new manager, so they're adapting to him. They haven't had the best start to the season, but we've usually got a good record there. I wouldn't say I'd take a point right now, because I do feel we can win that, but it depends on the performance, because like this week, if you look at Coventry, they're a very good team, but they've had quite a poor start to the season. They're in like 18th place, so it could have been a winnable game, but based on the performance, I would have taken a point. So you never know at Norwich. We'll see.
All right, and fingers crossed for not a too long a layout for Shaq. Okay, then let's switch tactic now then, and let's have a look at our continuation of reviewing the whole Watford squad. We've done goalkeepers, we've done central defenders as mentioned. Now it's time for left backs. Let's have a look and get your views on how strong and how deep the left back situation is. So other clubs have got lots more than this, but this is what Transfer Market put forward as the left backs available. Aaron, do you see this? Do you see this as an issue going forward for you? This position?
It's definitely one of our weaker positions. I will say there is one more on there. A Transfermarkt won't have him down as one, but since we don't really play with proper wingers now, Ken Sema is seen as a left wing back option. So I think he probably is second behind Larouci there. Larouci had a bit of a mixed start. His first appearance was quite positive, but the Sheffield United game and last game, he was pretty atrocious. The signing of Ebalese was important. It was one that he needs to be made, and I think having him able to play on the right and left is going to be vital for us going forward. Obviously, the Championship has so many games; you need a big squad. It won't be something we look at in January, but it's probably something we need to look at at the start of next season, because I don't know if we'll make the Larouci deal permanent. So far, obviously, quite a long way yet. James Morris isn't really a left wing back. I think he's more of a traditional left back. And Ken Sema, he's not very happy in that position, it seems. I know before he's come out in the Observer saying that he doesn't really enjoy playing wing back anywhere near as much as on the wing. He just does it because obviously he does what he's told. So, yeah, it's a potential concern.
Okay. Rio, do you jump on board with all of that?
Yeah, I'd say it's not something we're going to address now, but next summer, because obviously Sema 30, something like that. He's lost a lot yard of pace in the last year. Could see him leaving maybe next summer or summer after. Summer after. James Morris, I think it says quite a lot. He's probably played his best football for us at left centre back. I don't think he's really a left wing back. Ebaseli, he looked quite bright when he played on the weekend, but he was a bit predictable going forward. Got past the man once, and then the defender knew what he was going to do every time. But I was promising times with him. Larouci, I don't think he's fully fit. I've heard he was blowing against Sheffield United after about 30 minutes, and it was the same against Coventry on the weekend. So I think maybe a few more games before we analyse what he's done, because I think there's still more to come from him, but not so good so far.
All right, thanks for that. Next week we'll look at right backs as we continue our trawl through there. Get your thoughts on that as well. In the comments below, who's been the best left back for Watford ever? Love to hear your thoughts on that. We'll get some shouts on that next week. Do we dare talk about the Man City game by the time we publish this and it's out on the net? People are listening to it. The game will have finished. If you're cleverly, Rio, how do you prepare for a game like this?
Obviously, it's a very tough game. City playing twice in 49 hours, so you'd expect lots of their starting 11. Apparently, lots of their starting 11 won't be involved, but their backup squad consists of like Gundogan, Kovacic, Akanji, Foden, you name it. It's still brilliant. Yeah, a few dilemmas in there, because you've got likes of Jonathan Bond, who's obviously the cup keeper, but Batman, he isn't all that, but I feel he is quite a bit better than Jonathan Bond, so we'll see who he plays there. And Jefferson's cup tied, so Bayer or Dumbia, it's looking like, which against the likes of Man City I'm not so confident about. But if we go 1-0 up, it'll be all worth it. Just Keep the scoreline respectable.
Aaron, I think you're going, are you?
Well, it's actually next week, Alan. I think they're playing in Europe this midweek. But
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I unfortunately I can't make that one because work commitments. But I don't know if I'd want to go anyway. I can't see it being very fruitful. In my opinion, I think the minute we get drawn against that caliber of team in the cup, it's just. I wouldn't even stress about sending any really important players. I'd just keep them back because I can't really see the benefit in having them run ragged and eventually lose 4-0. So
fair enough. Only 4. I mean, we won't talk about the cup final. We'll
all the
8-0,
all the other 6-0, all the 5-0.
I think the closest game we've had with them was 2-1. Apart from that, I think it's been difference every time.
All right. Then finally, we're well into September now, so we're asking for your unsung player of the month for August. Come on then, Rio. Who's not had their flowers that needs a good shout out here?
Who actually won player of the month? Has it come out?
I don't think we've released ours yet.
Oh, right, you're the only club that hasn't.
I don't know if you're asking on all the other teams. I'm not really sure, but for us, Ben Musa Sissoko has made a. Oh no, it has to be Matty Pollock. Actually, thinking about it, Matty Pollock's been exceptional.
Okay, Aaron.
Matty Pollock definitely is my player of the month, but I'm going to try and pick someone that's unsung out. So if I'm doing that, then honestly, after all the stick I've given him,
I know where this is going.
I actually think Daniel Bachman's had a pretty good start to the season.
Who'd have ever thought we'd hear that? Right, okay. Can you beat that? Which player at Watford has not had this call out, the shout out, the praise they deserve? Drop it in the comments below. Thank you for watching. It's 20 minutes a week. That's all it is. It's a review of games. It's a preview of games. We've got the Luton one on the horizon. It's coming up. 3 weeks away now, is it? Something like that?
Month away, yeah.
We'll look forward to that. We'll have our Luton fan on here as well in a couple of weeks' time. Sorry, but we will. Can't wait for that. And yes, we'll look out for you at Norwich this weekend. We'll review it all next week. Thank you very much for joining us. And if you haven't yet done so, please drop a subscribe and a like below. And you can also follow us on Spotify. Also, where Hornets Walk. Cheers, Aaron. Cheers, Rio. We'll see you all next week.